The future of any person's success is based predominantly upon the image that they hold of themselves. By taking the time to understand the psychology and the physiology of the self, it can mean the difference between accomplishment and failure, bitterness and happiness, thriving and surviving. The discovery of the real self can rescue a collapsing financial status, recreate a faltering career, repair a dysfunctional relationship, and transform a life of mediocrity into a radiant existence. On a universal plane, discovering the real self means the difference between total freedom and the constraints of negative habitual behavior. Through carefully comprehending the self-image, and by learning to modify it to suit personal purposes, we gain incredible confidence and power in our ability to literally create what we want from life. We each carry a mental map or a picture of ourselves that is perfectly capable of being altered if it doesn't suit the image that we'd really like to hold and live. The self-image is our own conception of the type of person that we perceive ourselves to be. It dictates who we are to ourselves as well as to the outside world. This self-image is built upon our beliefs about ourselves that have unconsciously been formed from our past experiences, our success and failures, our discomforts, our triumphs, and the way other people have reacted to us, especially in early childhood. Once an idea or a belief about the self goes into this picture, it becomes truth, as far as we personally are concerned. We rarely question its validity, but proceed to act it out in the movie of our life just as if it were true. The self-image then controls what can and cannot be accomplished, what's perceived as difficult or easy, and even the responses received from others. More specifically, all actions, feelings, behavior, and capabilities are always consistent with the self-image. Not sometimes, always. You will always act like the sort of person you recognize yourself to be. More so, you literally cannot act otherwise, unless you reevaluate and alter your internal self-image. The person who identifies themselves as poverty-stricken will find some way to remain poor despite all good intentions. The person who has a personal awareness of always being a victim will, on every occasion, find circumstances to verify the opinion of this suffering. A person who has announced themselves as always being sick will find themselves without a remedy for what their sickness is. And you can insert any particular you want into this equation: weight loss, relationships, career, and so on. The effects of any personal interpretations of the self are universal and based on a cause that is rooted deep within the belief systems. The self-image is a conclusion and a foundation upon which the entire personality, behavior, and circumstances are built. Accordingly, experiences and manifestations have no choice but to verify and thereby strengthen our self-images, whether they may indicate some sort of lack or be beneficial. Whatever is deemed difficult for a person, whatever frustrations they may have in their life, outward conditions are likely proving and reinforcing those things based on natural laws. On the other side of the coin, whatever a person announces as easy for them, or whatever portion of the identity has developed a belief in something as effortless, painless, and unchallenging, is also strengthened and supported by these same laws. Whichever reality happens to be the case, it's based on certain fixed and possibly concealed patterns of thought that, if changed, will offer new experiences with vastly different results. The most important thing to note about the self-image is that it has the capability of being altered once you reach the root of the cause of discomfort. One of the reasons it seems so difficult for people to change their reality is because they spend all of their efforts attempting to manipulate their exterior circumstances, rather than working on the interior of the self, which is where the true power of manifestation lies. From the physical aspect, the body is made up of trillions of cells that are continuously being replaced with new, younger cells. Scientific research shows that most cells within the human body are regenerated within a period of several years. This means that you are literally a different person today than you were several years ago. It further suggests that most cells that made up your body years ago no longer exist. New cells have taken the place of these old cells, and you're now an almost completely different person. This is incredibly significant because within each one of your cells lies stored memories of who you are, your experiences, and the totality of your life. Parts of these memories get passed on to the next generation of cells, which is why you somewhat look the same as you did several years ago. You think the same, and to some extent you indulge in the same emotions and habitual patterns of behavior. However, the magnitude of this is that you don't necessarily have to be the same person you've been if it doesn't serve your desires to do so. You have a choice. You can choose to be different. With choice comes change, and with change comes measurable transformation. The trick is to create new, quality, and empowering memories for your cells to work with. It's as though you're writing a script for the cells in your body to act out. This script provides them with all of the background information, impressions, memories, and instructions they need to pass on to the next generation of cells. And by changing the instructions, you successfully alter the makeup of your cells and your physical body. Additionally, each cell within the body is a transmitter that emits signals to create according to the directions given. This is how they communicate within their own network, as well as to the outside world, by sending and receiving signals. If we can successfully alter the instructions within our cells, then the possibilities are endless. With new instructions through new beliefs regarding the self-image, your cells can transform and send the signals necessary to attract what is truly wanted in life based on the choice of the new self-image. Because our beliefs are reinforced by our outward environment, the significance of this fact is insurmountable. The body is shaped and transformed when cells are given instructions to undergo a new transformation. Being that the cells are able to transform the body in such a way, they must then emit new signals in alignment with this transformation to draw circumstances that validate and match the instructions that have been received. There's no law dictating how long it takes a person to realize profound relief from external problems. However, the subconscious mind, where beliefs are stored, and therefore the mode in which the cells receive their instructions, requires the proper language and repetition to take a new cue. But most people tend to believe that the more severe the challenges seem, and/or the longer a person has encountered this condition, the longer it must take to overcome it. This is a belief that most will want to challenge, as it's actually as far from the truth as possible. As a human being, you learn quickly. It's how you're designed. In fact, you can't learn slowly. Consider the fact that it has been proven that people who are consistently able to reach their desired goals are performing specific mental and physical behaviors with regularity and predictability. They tend to think in productive ways and enjoy positive attitudes about themselves, their lives, and their role in the universe. In other words, certain patterns of thinking and behaving make themselves apparent when reviewing just how people are able to manifest their desired goals. In turn, the cells within their physical body are in total alignment with the behavior and the beliefs. Maybe you know of someone, for some reason, who seems to consistently reach his or her goals seemingly easily and effortlessly. The fact is, there are those who know how to create their future in uncomplicated ways. But if you were to ask them how, they'd probably be unable to tell you in any detail. That's because for most people who do things exceptionally well, the secret of their skill resides almost totally at the subconscious level. In order to create the changes you want in your life, it's crucial that you learn to effectively communicate with your subconscious mind the directions for how you want to think, feel, and behave, instead of any old fear-based responses and negative, sabotaging self-images. A well-formed outcome or goal is one that is stated in such a way that it is particularly appealing to the subconscious mind because it's communicated in a language that this portion of the mind speaks and understands. The subconscious mind doesn't speak any verbal form of language, so you can't just tell yourself that you don't want certain responses, behavior, and negative imagery of yourself anymore and hope to change your reactions in that way. On the other hand, you can tell yourself what you want by using the language of the brain in order for your brain to understand what you're communicating to it. Here's the key. The language of the brain is vivid, sensory-rich imagination coupled with intense feeling states. As previously stated, self-image is built through past experiences and beliefs, most often formed in early childhood. As you continually play the character you've always played within the movie of your life, change will be near impossible to create. If you don't alter your script, and therefore the script that your subconscious mind has learned to play automatically, which in turn hands down the script to your cells, the little signal transmitters, you will have a difficult time altering your life. However, you can change your character, your movie, and consequently your entire life by practicing the steps given in the upcoming exercise. I will offer these steps a little more quickly than you may want to perform them when doing this in your own time, and I recommend doing this for an average of 10 to 15 minutes per day. Step 1. Decide what type of self-image you would like to hold now. Healthy, confident, prosperous, successful, whatever it is. Do a little research to discover the types of people who have what you want, and find pictures of the things that you want. Get specific about the details in your mind. You will need them to complete this technique accurately. Step 2. Choose a formerly challenging context in which you know you'd like to change your self-image so that it matches the new you in the new script you're writing. For example, the old you with the old script may not have had the courage to apply for a job that he or she wants. But now you're going to give the old you a new script with new information that changes this behavior. Decide specifically so that it matches your new self-image how you would now like your behavior to be. Do you want to change your self-image to be more confident, certain, assured, successful, loving, etc.? When you're feeling the way you want to be feeling, how will you be free to behave differently? Step 3. Close your eyes and take the director's chair position in the theater of your mind. As the director, you will be directing the actors, the environment, and the scene itself from your position within the auditorium. So when going through this process, just imagine that you're sitting in an auditorium and that you're the director of the scenes in this new movie. You're totally in charge of the scene and the actors in it, and it's up to you to be sure that you communicate your intended message to the audience. Step 4. With your eyes still closed, direct your eyes to your upper right and imagine a stage upon which your personalized scene is going to unfold. Step 5. Continuing to direct your eyes at the stage to your upper right in your mental creation, construct a vivid, sensory-rich imagination of a scene in which an actor of your choice that's playing you is performing magnificently with the new self-image. For instance, the new you has just finished their morning exercise and is now sitting in the office of your beautiful home preparing for the work that he or she loves to do. There's a sheer look of gratitude on his or her face because of finally being able to work from the comfort of home, doing what this version of you loves and making a very prosperous living doing so. This you is surrounded by a peaceful and tropical atmosphere where the birds can be heard singing, the swaying palm trees dance in the wind, and the ocean waves gently brush the white sand beach that shimmers just a few feet away from the window. From the work area, you can see yourself take a deep breath, and you notice the delight on your face from the scent of the beautiful flowers that drift in through the window. The desk is the perfect size, and this you sinks comfortably into the overstuffed chair as if seated on a soft cloud. As this you looks out the window at the ships passing by, he or she says, "I'm so grateful to be here. I've always known this was the life that I was meant to live. This is who I really am." Again, the point is to make this imaginary scene sensory rich. Step 6. Notice this actor's posture as the new you. How does he or she carry themselves? What is the actor wearing in this perfect scene that depicts the new script of your life? What are their gestures like? And how can you tell that the actor playing you has complete knowledge of their role exactly as you have designed and directed it to be? Step 7. As you continue to direct your gaze to your upper right, with your eyes still closed, watch the scene unfold multiple times. Direct the actor playing you until it looks like they have total mastery in this new behavior. Notice the responses of any of the other actors in the scene, and notice how their behavior begins to support the competence of the actor playing you. Step 8. When you feel totally confident that the actor playing you has the new behavior completely mastered, imagine yourself floating up as the mind from your observer position in the auditorium as the director. From this first-person position, float up and into the body of the actor playing you. It may take a few times of practicing this, but once you have done so, you are fully associating into the scene itself, having replaced the actor with you and immersing into the scene. Step 9. Step fully into the experience now and run through that scene as if it were you performing the behavior. Be the actor, fully in the experience. See what you are seeing through your first-person point of view eyes, hear what you're hearing, and most importantly, feel how amazingly good it feels to behave with the new self-image in an easy, effortless, and comfortable way. Allow yourself the time to experience what it's actually like to be totally confident in the ability to behave magnificently in the new self-image. Notice how great it feels to perform this behavior with excellence. Step 10. Rehearse the scene until one of these 3 things happens. It looks like you're performing the behavior naturally. Something tells you that you're performing the behavior naturally. or you feel like you are performing the behavior naturally. Spend at least 10 minutes doing this exercise at least once per day, twice if you can. Every time you run through this exercise, you are literally giving your subconscious mind a new command for how you want it to respond regarding your new self-image, which in turn will pass the information to the cells so they can emit the new signal. And again, the key to making this exercise work really well and really quickly for you is to create a particularly vivid, detailed, and compelling experience of what it's like to actually experience your ultimate outcome. How do you know this is going to work? Consider that this exercise is simply an example of what you've been doing all along in the past, most likely totally unconsciously, to effectively program in your previous conditioned self-image and outcomes. You may note that the behavioral responses you have always seem to happen totally automatically. The fact is, there was a time when you weren't responding in a way that blocked what you want from coming to you. So how did you learn to be so good at a self-image, behaviors, and signals that create what you don't want, if that's what you're experiencing? Well, chances are, once feelings started to come up in your life that block your desires from coming to you, it was such an uncomfortable experience that you started to spend a tremendously disproportionate amount of time worrying and thinking about what you don't have that you really want. And how do we worry about what might happen in the future? We do it by creating a vivid, detailed, sensory-rich experience of what could go wrong. And then we use our mental imagery to step into the experience of that outcome fulfilled, experiencing that outcome as though it were happening right now. It's simply running through essentially the very same mental mechanics you used to use in the past for the self-image that you may want to replace portions of. It's totally automatic and unconscious, and creates a program and self-image that you may now see can be changed.